Alright, so before the story starts, I just want to mention that today's story is honestly insane. And no one should be ever shutting down Walmarts because we all love Walmart, I think. Anyways, going on, guys. Before anything, I just want to mention, make sure you guys do leave a like and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Seriously, it means a lot when you guys do. And on top of that, did I mention I'm live on Twitch as we speak right now? So yeah, go click the link in the description down below and watch me live. But other than that, let's get straight into this. What is going on, you guys? My name is Bubba and welcome back to another crazy story. So today's story is honestly about how I locked down a Walmart. So back when I was 3 years old.
Pause that. If we're going to be telling this story, let me be the one to say this.
Whoa, wait, what are you doing here? This is my channel. That doesn't make any sense.
Well, first of all, Bubba, you were only 3 years old. You clearly would not have remembered everything. So everyone, fasten your seatbelts and grab a popcorn. Let me tell you how a chunky 3-year-old thought it would be a good idea to play hide and seek at a Walmart. Now, to start this off, I know I gotta introduce myself. So hi, I'm Utti. You may or may not know me, but I'm Bubba's older sister. Wink wink, the wiser child in this family. And now let's get back to the story. So Walmart in your early 2000s, you got your Hannah Montana merchandise, Ninja Turtles, all that good stuff that they don't carry nowadays. And now to explain the main character, Bubba, a fat little Theodore. You know, the one from Alvin and the Chipmunks? He was this hairless little thing, white as Snow White, and oh lord, just hella fat.
What do you mean fat? I wasn't that fat, Utti. I don't know what you're talking about.
Excuse me? You were fat, like big fat mama fat. Now go away. I'm the one telling the story. Nobody wants to hear you right now. All right, so back to what I was talking about. So truthfully, at that time, I was responsible for taking care of Bubba. And let me be serious with you. I didn't think chunky little legs could run so fast that I'd end up losing him. My mistake. But in my defense, Bubba was not good at speaking at the time. He barely knew anything. So I wasn't aware that he was gonna run off, and he never pointed out to me that he was gonna leave me. And if you're wondering where our parents were, they were close by, but I think we were shopping for our mom at the time. So, you know, they had to do their own thing. We were just doing our own thing. Anywho, I don't know what went through Bubba's brain at that moment that he decided in a big supermarket, it'd be a good idea to play hide and seek. And of course, you know, with his lack of words, he didn't tell us we were playing a game, so he just randomly dozed off. Now, of course, the smart thing to do when you lose a child is to notify the parents that, hey, your kid's missing, you might want to start looking for them. But I'm sure to any older child can relate to this, you clearly don't want to tell your parents that you lost their second born. And so I decided to take things into my own hands and look for the fat blueberry. Now, when you're thinking for a fat kid where they could have dozed off to, you'd obviously think, hey, maybe the candy section, maybe the chocolate section, maybe even where the carrots and celery are. But he wasn't there either. So I decided to next check the toys section, you know, where they probably would have things that 3-year-olds would love and would want to take to their parents and cry their eyes out and say, please, please buy me this. But he wasn't there either. So to my luck, I had to end up telling my parents that I lost Bubba. Now, before I told them that I lost the kid, I obviously had to mentally and physically prepare myself for the worst yet to come that was going to be said by them. I prepared my tears, ladies and gentlemen. I prepared my shivers. I even prepared a speech to say, Mom, Dad, I lost the fat child.
Okay, I don't know why you keep saying this. I'm not that fat. Like, I wasn't that fat back when I was a kid.
Excuse me, get out of here. I'm not done telling the story, and clearly you're just interrupting the mood. Back to the story. So I ended up telling our parents that, hey, I lost Bubba. I'm really sorry. Please, please don't be mad. And they were surprisingly really understanding about it. But between you and me, I just think they didn't want to cause a scene in public. Now, our dad handled this really maturely. He was shouting his name around, Bubba, Bubba, where are you? Come out. We're looking for you. My mother, on the other hand, she started sobbing a little bit and she was like, Bubba Kujai, come here. Come to mama. Please come here. After 5 to 10 minutes, we still couldn't find the little fatso. So that's when we got a worker from Walmart involved. My dad explains the situation and the lady was quite understanding at first until my mom started sobbing and exaggerated a little bit and said, please, please help me find our son. I think someone stole him. He's this tall. He's a little bit bald and he has these white cheeks that look like they're about to pop. Now, of course, when you tell someone that, hey, I think my child is stolen, a little bit more worse circumstances come into hand, and that's when security got involved. Kudos to Walmart though. Honestly, they took really mature steps to ensure that nobody actually stole the fat kid. So they shut down the doors. Nobody was allowed to come in. Nobody could go out. And the best way I could describe the vision of how it looked like for everyone gathering around to look for a kid, let's put it in this way. Mr. Beast playing hide and seek at Walmart with a bunch bunch of people. That's honestly the best way I could put it. Now, due to it taking longer than an hour to find Bubba, we obviously had more authorities involved. The police came. They were kind of gathering around the parking lot just to see if there was anybody that took him. Police officers came inside. They were trying to get a description of Bubba. So while my dad was helping with everything else to find Bubba, my mom and I decided we should check, like, you know, some more obvious places, the washrooms, the change rooms. Now, I say this with all gratefulness. Thank the Lord Bubba was really young at the time, that he could not do all that, you know, devil's tango nonsense.
Whoa, okay, first off, it's pronounced devil's tango. And as well as, there's been a story where I've actually done that funny enough, but whatever.
Hush up, you little nasty thing. Let me finish the story. Now, give or take, an hour and a half went by and we still couldn't find Bubba. So we actually gave up and we just decided to let the police take over for looking for him. Of course, my mother was sobbing her eyes out, and me, on the other hand, I was starting to have some guilt for losing the fatso. I did shed a tear, maybe one or two. And Walmart had to open up again, so my dad thought it would be a good idea to just make a quick stop to the McDonald's that was located in the Walmart, and we just get some ice cream. Now, I don't know how, and I mean how, the fatso understood this. He decided to just pop out of the clothing rack, and by the clothing rack, I mean, I don't know if they carry these now. That round clothing rack that you'd be able to spin around, it was the women's lingerie section, but it was a little bit longer than lingerie. I think it was like the pajamas or something. He just popped out of there, like, you know, as if it gave birth to the fat kid, and he was like, "Ice Queen?" I swear to God, I was about to murder the kid the moment I saw him waddle out of that clothing rack. And my mom and dad, obviously, they were pure happiness coming out of them. They were just grateful that they found their kid. As for the security guards and police officers, they couldn't stop laughing that the boy was literally hiding in lingerie. Anywho, let this be a valuable lesson to never let your toddler play hide and seek at Walmart, especially if they can't talk.
Okay, wait, so does that mean you're done now? Like, can I have my channel back?
Actually, no, I'm not. So guys, make sure to leave a like and subscribe. And since we all know I'm better than Bubba at this thing, if you guys want me to come back, I would ask that you guys give 2,000 likes. And don't forget to comment that your sister is better than you, Bubba. Period. And I will be back sooner than you can imagine. He also wanted me to say this. Did you know he's live on Twitch right now? So click on the link in description and watch the Dumbo play. And as he always ends it off with, like and follow for more embarrassing stories. But if you want me to tell the stories, make sure you let him know that. Love you all. Bye.
Okay, so I have an honest truth to tell you guys. I've never told this story, but honestly, so many people ask me this over on Twitch all the time because it's one of my deepest, darkest secrets. But before we get into the story, I just want to mention I'm currently live on Twitch right now, so click the link down below and watch me live for more crazy stories like this one. And on top of that, did I mention leave a like and subscribe? Because you seriously should. If you don't, I'm gonna go do the devil's tango with your mother and maybe your dad. No, I'm just kidding. I'm not your dad. Going on though. What is going on, you guys? My name's Bubba and welcome back to another insane story. Today, I'll be revealing the truth of why I wear socks 24/7. And yes, I do wear socks 24/7. For a bit of a backstory, basically, one time on Twitch, I remember I told my chat that I wear socks 24/7. And all of them were shocked. They even said in bed, and I said yes. I wear socks to bed. I wear socks when I'm home. I wear socks when I'm out. I wear socks all the time. The only times I don't wear it is when I'm swimming or taking a shower, because I'm not psycho, okay? But everywhere else, my socks are on. And many girls say, "Oh, you have such pale feet." It's the weird girls that like looking at my feet. Stop it. It's gross. Icky. That's my no-no square. Sorry, going on though. This story all starts off when I was a kid. And by a kid, I mean a very young kid. I remember I was 7 years old and I was just hanging out with me and my family. And me and my family, we always like to go on trips and stuff all the time. But one thing that my parents never let me do was go on sleepovers. Sleepovers were never something I was allowed to do. Like, comment down below if you guys have strict parents that don't let you go on sleepovers, because I knew I had one of those parents. Like, my first sleepover was when I was 10 years old. But I think the reason why is because this one time, and it all starts like this. So I remember back when I was 7 years old, I remember me and my family were gonna go visit some really close old family friends. And me, I was down to go see my family friends. I always enjoyed going. So I remember I ended up going on the car with them and we ended up going to their house. And when I did, I remember I saw an old friend of mine that I haven't seen in a while. He was a bit younger than me, but still, we were good friends. The only age difference was like 2 years, and me being 7, him being 5, didn't really make a difference. Other than he was better at building Legos and me, I was better at touching my iPad. Yes, I had an iPad. I was a cool kid, okay? Anyways, going on though. I remember one time as we were all just playing and my family was in the living room with their parents and I was playing with him. We were all playing games and stuff and we were all hanging out. But as usual, I remember the 5-year-old, he looks at me and he says, yo, bro, do you want to like maybe like sleep over with me? I look at him. I'm like, I don't know, man. Like, I don't think my mom and dad would let me like, you know, stay the night. And reminder, I never had a sleepover, so I didn't know how it was gonna go. But then I told him, yeah, man, like, I don't think my mommy and daddy will let me. He ends up looking at me. He's like, dude, just tell your mom that like you'll be safe and you can sleep in my crib. Okay, let me explain real quick. Yes, he still had a crib. I think he was like 5 and still slept in a crib. And no, I wasn't gonna sleep on the crib, but like, yeah. Anyways, I'll continue. It'll make more sense later on. So I remember me and this kid, we ended up going into the living room. We ended up walking up to our parents and saying, hey, so can Baba sleep over? And I went to ask my parents and I said, hey, like, mom, dad, can I sleep over, please? They both looked over at each other, like, you know, as usual parents do. And they're like, sure. Are you sure you can handle it though, Baba? Like, you're gonna be pretty far from home. It was only a 20-minute drive, but going on. I ended up telling her, yeah, like, I can do it. Like, I'm a big boy now. I'm 7 years old. Like, I can just call my mom on my iPad if I really need her. My mom looks over at me. She's like, okay, we'll just be safe, okay? We'll let you stay the night. So I remember once we got the okay for the sleepover, me and my friend were like freaked out. We're like, no way, we're going to have a sleepover. Let's go, baby. And we ended up like playing Nerf guns all around the house. We ended up all messing around and stuff. And we started goofing around, basically. We had dinner. We were watching TV. We were doing the whole entire sleepover thing. But me being 7 years old, obviously all fun times come to an end. And well, this fun time was at nighttime. So I remember it became like around like 9:30. It was dark out. It was seriously dark out. And I remember my friend's mom walked up to us and saying, okay, guys, time to go to bed. What? Now this is where like my heart started freaking out. And I was like, no way. Oh my goodness. I'm getting like going to bed. Oh my God. I don't have my mom. And I started freaking out. I started like kind of hyperventilating. But then after that, the mom of my friend ended up walking up to me saying, hey, like, don't worry. Like, you're going to be okay. Like, here, let me show you where you're going to be sleeping. And we ended up going into my buddy's room together. And we ended up basically making a little spot for me to sleep in. It was just like my bed at home. You know, I had a blanket, I had a pillow, I had a mattress. But the only thing was that when I was laying down, I realized that this wasn't my room. Obviously, it wasn't my room, but you know what I mean? Like, the feeling sunk in that I was not at home. And I missed my mom. And then I remember I went to go get my iPad. So I secretly got up quietly to not wake up my buddy that was sleeping in the crib. And I walked over to the living room where my iPad was. I sat on the couch, I went on my iPad, and I tried calling my mom, but my iPad was dead. I didn't know what to do. I was panicking. I was freaking out. I'm like, oh my God, I can't call my mommy. So I ended up just, you know, basically trying to find another way. I walked around the house with my bare feet, walking thump, 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 all around the place. And this is where things get wild. I ended up going inside the kitchen, all terrified and scared. And then after that, I hear a big thump behind me. And it was the mom. But it wasn't just the mom in a normal face. She had like green stuff all over her face. And she looked at me. She's like, Papa, why are you bare feet walking around the kitchen? You could get sick. Where are your socks? What? Dude, I remember I turned around and like freaked out. I'm like, oh my goodness. What? Like, I was terrified, dude. Like, I could not explain it. I had like the most scared feeling. And the weirdest part was that she wasn't even asking about me. She was asking about my socks. And for some reason, I remember I was freaked out, right? And what does a 7-year-old kid do when he's freaked out? Well, I'll tell you what I did. I ran. Me knowing she had like some green like alien product on her hair and stuff or on her face, and I'm freaked out like crazy. I remember I started sprinting. I ran around the house like crazy. Like, think of like a Roadrunner and me running 10 times faster than that little birdie does when he's running away from the wolf. I was running around scared, jumping from couch to couch, terrified. After I hear a 5-year-old kid, which was my buddy, crying in his room, not knowing what's going on. And I remember the dad came. I was like, what's going on here? I mean, I was running terrified because every time I looked behind me, it was the mom literally chasing me down with a pair of socks that weren't even mine, trying to make me put them on. I don't know what this deal was with his mom and socks, but for some reason, she has like a really strict rule of having socks on in the house because, like, you know, the hardwood floors and stuff could make me sick from, I have no idea what's the science behind it, but all I know is that this woman was chasing me with socks and I was gonna puke and be terrified. Like, it was the scariest feeling in my life, and to this day, I'm still terrified. Like, I still wear socks to this day because of this woman. Anyways, as I was running away, I remember the dad ends up jumping in front of me, and then after that, the mom ended up grabbing me by my shoulders, throwing me on the couch, and literally putting the socks on me forcefully. Like, I've never seen a person get socks put on them forcefully, but this was by force. I was freaking out, almost crying, and then I remember the mom looks at me after she puts on the socks. She's like, don't ever, and I mean ever, run around my house without socks on again. You understand me? I started crying. At that point, I was tearing up. I'm like, I want my mommy, because like I didn't know what was going on. And I remember that they ended up calling my mom, and my mom was like, oh, like, we'll come picking you up. I'm so sorry. And then like my mom came over, and it was a whole scenario. And then after that, I remember my dad looks at me when he came to the house with my mom. And as my mom was talking to the family friend, or the mother of the family friend, about about the whole situation. I remember my dad looks at me saying, those aren't your socks. I didn't buy those for you. Whose socks are those? I ended up looking up at him and I started crying. And I'm like, I don't know. And then my mom ends up looking over. She's like, why are you crying? And then my dad's like, oh, like, don't worry. Like, we could take off the socks. I remember my dad was reaching for my feet to take off my socks. And I said, no, please don't. And I was terrified. I don't think I took off those socks for like a literally week straight. I'm not even gonna lie to you guys. Actually, I think I still might have them. I'm not sure. But other than that, that is basically the story of why I wear socks 24/7. That traumatizing experience from when I was 7 till now, I still wear socks. And no, if I do take off my socks, I don't think like some old lady is gonna come after me or something to make sure I have my socks on. I just got used to it at this point, from when I was a kid till now. Okay, so in no way should anyone be cursing out a teacher. I just want to say real quick warning, this happened when I was a child, a legitimate child. So no one, and I mean no one, should be doing this with their teacher unless their teacher is straight up making them do something that they don't want to do, and that's illegal. That's basically the only time I could see this happening. Anyways, guys, today's story is a little insane, but make sure you do leave a like and subscribe to the channel if you guys haven't already. Seriously, it means a lot when you guys do. And also, if you guys are really big fans of the stories that I tell on here, make sure you guys do join the Discord server down below. Seriously, joining the Discord server will grant you access to talk to me, tell me your guys' crazy stories, and well, who knows, you guys get all the crazy updates on there of stuff I do. And also, there's proof of the stories in there, so make sure you guys do join it. Other than that, today's story does get insane, so leave a like, subscribe, and like I always say, let's get straight into this. What is going on, you guys? My name's Bubba, and welcome back to another crazy story. So this story takes place back when I was a kid. Funny enough, this was actually my grade 3 year. I know, crazy. And I remember back when I was in grade 3, I had this really mean teacher that I did not like at all. I did not like her so much to the point where she would actually scare me to the point where I did not want to go to school. I remember for like the first couple of weeks into my new school year of being in grade 3, I never had a really good friendship with my teacher because I'm gonna be honest here, I didn't really speak English properly. Like I used to always do the thing where I was like LMNOP instead of saying LMNOP like a normal person. And my teacher used to always harass me about that and basically make fun of the way I used to speak. It got to the point where she embarrassed me one time in front of the class and I literally cried, and my mom ended up picking me up and taking me home. When I explained to my mom what happened, I remember she was really pissed. Knowing I was a brown kid basically trying to learn English in the best way possible kind of sucked. If you guys don't know, I'm Persian, so like, you know, it's a little interesting here because I'm half Persian, half English. Anyways, going on with the story, I remember basically when I got home, my mom was telling me how she wanted me to write a note to my teacher, and she told me, Bubba, take this note and take it to your teacher right away, straight to her, no questions asked. She ended up putting the note in an envelope because she didn't want me reading it at all because apparently I wasn't old enough to yet, whatever that means. And basically, I took it the next day to school. When I went to school, I instantly walked up to my teacher and she looked at me. She's like, are you going to behave today in class, Bubba? And I looked at her saying, my mom gave you a note. She ended up taking my note and she basically looked at my note and she's like, okay. And she read it all through and basically looked at me and said, tell your mom I would love to speak to her tomorrow after school. I looked at her and I'm like, what? Why? I didn't do anything. I swear I didn't do anything. And then I started almost end up crying because, well, I thought I was in trouble. I thought I got in trouble because of something my mom did, for God's sakes. I didn't know what was going on. So I remember the whole day, I basically went through the whole school day in grade 3 panicking about what was going to happen at school. When the day went to an end, I remember I ended up going straight home, and in the car ride home of my mom picking me up, I told my mom, hey mom, my teacher wants to see you tomorrow around like 3:30ish after school. And my mom was pissed. My mom was like, are you serious? After that note I gave her, she wants to see me? She was really upset. I could tell. Like, my mom being angry is something that we all know, like, when it happens and occurs, and she was pissed. So I remember she ended up telling me, well, Bubba, tell that damn woman to herself and mind her own business. You understand that? She is an ultimate and she can grow the hell up. You understand me? Tell her she's a fat and she can grow a pair. I looked at my mom and I'm like, Mom, I don't think I'm gonna say that. She looked at me, she's like, you're gonna say that word for word, or I'm literally gonna make you take your Xbox and throw it out the damn window. My mom was really mad. I didn't know what to do or say. I couldn't tell why she was mad. I didn't even know why this even happened. Anyways, I remember I went at home, and when I went home, I went straight to my bathroom thinking, all right, how am I gonna say this? You're a damn No, I can't say it like that. And basically practicing in the mirror how I was gonna say this to my teacher. I had no idea how to do this because I'm gonna be honest, me and swear words weren't really friend on friend until I got into high school. But anyways, going on, I was basically practicing my stuff and going at it. I was just practicing me swearing at the mirror until my little sister walks in saying, Bubba, why are you swearing at yourself? What did you do? And I'm like, oh, nothing. I'm just practicing for mom. What? You're gonna say that to mom? No, I'm saying it to my teacher. As if that was any better. Anyways, going on, on though, I remember I was basically practicing and all that stuff. And I remember I got an Xbox with the boys saying, guys, tomorrow it's about to go down. All my friends were confused. And honestly, we were in grade 3. Like the only game we were really playing at the time were like some like T-rated games that no one would really play. Anyways, basically, I remember the next day ended up happening. I got dressed. I went back in front of the mirror as I was brushing my teeth. And I was just practicing, you know, basically going, my mom wanted me to tell you, you dumb... No, it's not like that. And basically training myself to basically swear at her or cuss her out in a way. And then when I got to school, I remember my friends came up to me saying, Bubba, there's no way you're gonna do this, bro. You cannot do this, Bubba. It's a bad idea, man. And I remember I was like, no, I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna do it. And basically we went inside the classroom, and instantly before class started, my teacher walked up in front of the class saying, Bubba, any word from your mother recently? And I remember I stood up and I'm like, yes, my mom wanted me to tell you something. And then the teacher looks at me and she's like, are you gonna say it in proper English or is it on a note? I looked at her and I'm like, you know what? You know what? My mom wanted me to tell you, you ugly, stupid that you are going to pay for what you've done, harassing my son. And also on top of that, you're a fat and you are so and you are so worthless to the point where you're a... Yeah, it got really off the point to the point where I don't even remember what my mom said. I just wanted to cuss at her knowing I had free access to it. My mom let me. Well, partially let me, I guess. I don't know. I basically totally went off script of what she wanted me to say, and I just started cussing her out straight up in grade 3. I remember everyone was freaking out, and I remember like it got to the point where the principal was walking by the hallway and saw me cussing her out and basically stood back and just watched through the classroom door of me just going at it. And then right as I was finished, I remember I said, and my mom wanted me to tell you to stop making fun of me. And sat down. When I sat down, the principal walks in and says, Bubba, can I see you in my office like right now? I remember I looked at him like, why is he here? And I basically got my backpack on and started going downstairs with him. And he did that weird thing that principals do where they put their hand on the kid's shoulder as they're walking to the principal's office to make sure the kid doesn't run away. And God knows, I was actually really thinking about running away and running home. And when we got to the principal's office, I remember I sat there waiting 20 minutes until my mom came by and she saw me and she's like, Bubba, what'd you do? What's happened? I told her, I did what you wanted me to do. I told the teacher off. And she looked at me. She's like, wait, did you actually swear at her? Like, did you say all the stuff I told you to say? I said, yeah, mom, are you proud of me? She looks at me. She's like, no, are you crazy? That's your teacher. Yeah. Little did I know, she just wanted me to tell her to stop bullying me in the kind ways that most people do on Pink Shirt Day. Yeah, I didn't do that right. Anyways, going on though, I remember I basically went to the principal's office and I had to write down an apology to my teacher. When in reality, I'm not gonna lie, I was just saying the simple instructions, but my mom didn't want me to tell them that basically she told me what to say in the first place because, well, things would have gotten confusing in that conversation. But going on, yeah, it was a really bad idea. Other than that, please don't cuss out your teachers, guys. It is not a smart idea, and trust me, it leads to nowhere. Absolutely nowhere. Unless you guys actually hate your teacher like badly, but I mean, it is what it is. Anyways, guys, that's basically it for today's story. Make sure you do leave a like and subscribe to the channel if you guys haven't already. Seriously means a lot when you guys do, and like I always say, follow for more embarrassing stories. All right, peace out, guys.
My name is Bubba. I'm still on top of the world. Never taken with your mother. Of course, let's go. Should I make it a story? Let's click record. Got that TikTok with 2 mil hit different with some more. She said she love me, she clapped. Should I exit for sure? I got 100K for my life's work, so mama said bravo. All these people on my street love y'all till the day I go.